Okay, I've just finished modifying the little jelly. I put in the two new pups in that, not pups, two new potentiometers into it, and I realized that my screen went black during the filming of this tools video I wanted to do for y'all. Plus, I didn't realize how long it was going. Anyhow, I've erased that. I'm starting over again. So here we go. I've been asked what tools do I use when I modify these guitars, the cost of them, and I'm just going to go one by one through my little toolkit. And what I use normally is it's just this little rolling, what you call it here, it's a rolling cabinet, right? And I'll throw a thick towel across top of it, and it fits the guitar perfectly, right? So that all I have to do is strap the guitar down and I'm ready to work on the guitar. Well, first of all, I use a Radio Shack soldering iron. It goes up to 470 degrees. I think it's around $20. Alright? Like I said, I'm going down and dirty to get these things done fast. Don't bore the shit out of you. Next, I use a voltmeter. These can run up to $300 for a fluke, but as you can see, this is a GB, and it's not very expensive, like 30 bucks, right? I've modified it to attach these alligator clips, as you can see, to the leads, so I don't have to hold the lead in place while I do the volt measurements. Next, I always recommend you have a good, hold on, come open, damn it, a good caliper set. It's always really handy and helpful. This one's digital. They run from $100 to $300 depending again on the make and model that you buy. I don't recommend an expensive one, but digital sure makes it easier for me to use. Let's see what else is in here. These are adjustable screwdrivers that have 16 to 30 tips on them. A set of these is about $35. They're not that expensive, but they sure come in handy when you're working on different screw sizes on these guitars. I've come to find out. Always good to have a very sharp knife available, right? Because you're working with wiring the solder, so you need to be able to cut it easily. Oh, shoot. Next, soldering irons, caddy. I've got 3 or 4 different soldering irons. Let's see what else. A set of Allens, large and small, to work on the bridges as well as the truss rods on these guitars. A lot of times the truss rod Allen they send to you is not very helpful. It's too small and has a lot of reach to it. That's why I go to these sets. I keep a set of these. Both a standard and metric, and I think they're about $50 a set, but unless you have a use for them other than the guitar work or modifying your guitars, I suggest that you check into getting something else. Get those little all-in-one sets they have that are available. But of course this one, being long as it is, helps get into that truss rod and work with it easier. Needle nose pliers. Definitely going to need these. This is a set with springs, which makes it easier to work with, simply because you don't need 2 hands to tighten onto something and loosen something up. But when you're soldering, these come in real handy to hold the wires in place. All right. A set of locking pliers is always helpful. These are the bullnose type, and I've got a set of needle nose locking pliers too. Those I guess are around 30 bucks. The needle nose around 15 to 20, right, for those. Hopefully I haven't missed too many things. The utility knife's around $10 or less. What else? This is called an ALD, A-L-D, I think that's what it's called. At least I've heard it called that before. And what it is an old hand tool for working with wood that actually you can increase the size of a hole when you start at that tip and then, of course, slowly work your way down, twisting it in a twisting motion, like a drill, until you come out the right size that you want. Now, if you're just going to take off a few thousandths out of a hole for like a tuner, I would suggest trying to find one of these. Again, I think it's called an ALD, A-L-D, or ALD, and you probably can find these in a woodworking shop or maybe even Home Depot, something like that. All right. Next, always keep a very sharp knife handy in case the scissors aren't available. You have to cut something. I hate trying to find shit when I'm in a hurry or have to burn something. Yeah, 45-degree needle nose. Always come in handy when you're working with the semi hollow body and hollow bodies to reach underneath those F-holes to get to things. Stands for the soldering irons. What else is in here? Different jeweler type screwdrivers. A set of these contains about 8 of them. They're smaller, they're handy. You just never know when you need these. You get different screw types on these guitars, especially when they're made from all over China. Let's see, that's supplies there. That's not what I'm looking for. Oh yeah, another really handy tool to have is a set of long tweezers. These are 45-degree tweezers that you can work inside a semi-hollow or hollow body guitar readily, and not to have to reach your fingers in there, which you have long thick fingers like mine, it's kind of hard to get your fingers in there, right? This is about $10, right? The ALD, real quickly, again, the ALD, I have no idea what this thing costs these days. Probably $30 to $50, I would imagine, if it's a precise tool. Just looking at what this thing is now, it's probably pretty expensive these days. Always good to have a small file available, like a knife file, right? That you can file ends off of and adjust things, readily. Okay. Now, I've got a set of fret working tools, but I don't recommend doing that if you're modifying these guitars. You might want to get somebody to do that for you. Those are really involved. Fast string winders, just basically instead of putting, turning them one by one or turning those tuning heads one by one, you put these on there and twist them real fast, and you just spin that string on there quickly. What else? Yeah, I always recommend having a grease pencil, right? Grease pencil and a couple of Sharpies for marking purposes. You never know how often you'll use these things, but they're a couple of bucks each. Solder, I get mine at Radio Shack. It's like $7 a tube, and it'll probably do anywhere from 3 to 4 guitars, depending on what the guitars are. And if you really scrimp on it, it might even go to 6 guitars. All right, so that's pretty good, buy there. That's another truss rod. Something else you might have come in handy is this is a little dental mirror that you can buy at any drugstore, and believe it or not, you can actually use this to look inside of semi-hollow and hollow body guitars to see if you have a problem with the lineup of a wire, or if the wire's in the way, or if one's come loose, or you have a bad solder spot, rather than take it all apart. Really comes in handy. These are like $5 at CVS drugstores. This is more just supplies and stuff. Never hurts to have a little tape measure. Not the best measuring tool in the world, but it's not as precise as you really want it. But if you're in a tight spot, it does come in handy. The really best thing to have today is a metal scale, right? You can't beat that as far as having a measuring tool. If I get the light on it, there. So if you're measuring the height of strings versus the frets, height of the strings versus the pups. Whatever you're measuring, this is a nice scale to have. I think this was kind of expensive. It was like $12 for the scale. I think that's about it for the tools that I use, other than the fret working tools. Wait a minute. I also use this little handy dandy soldering iron tool that you can use to hold things in place. I just used it not more than an hour ago to hold different potentiometers, one across from the other, so you can wire them up without actually just letting them sit on something, and hold them in place and control them. Very nice. It's like $30 at Radio Shack, I believe. I guess where I got that thing. What else? Well, next is supplies. The supplies I keep laying around when doing modifications. I always have a set of humbucker covers, black, right? Fender Telecaster bridge came off that recent modification. What else? Of course, you gotta have electrical tape and shrink wrap or shrink tubing. Always comes in handy. More of the parts came off that Telecaster, the silver or the chrome colors. Gosh, I must have 30 different tuning keys in here, from the green caps for the Gibsons to the Fender chromes to the Gibson chromes, plus their mounting brackets and screws and such that I keep in here, right? A lot of people prefer those Gibson parts. Doesn't hurt if you're working on Gibsons, keep a couple of tail ends ready. A couple of chrome ones, which is the most common colors. Something else you might want to consider keeping. This is insulation wiring. Either you can slide a piece of wire into it, like this is to be used for, to insulate, or I've got other wire that actually has wiring in it that you just hook it straight up. You don't slide anything in it. Of course, spare screws, spare bolts, different washers, different screws. There's a lot of three-way parts in here, for the three-ways. Different lock washers. Yeah, and the tune-o-matic bridges, which I thoroughly hate, but if we're going to Gibsons, you gotta have them. Mounting brackets for three-ways. It's on three-ways. Mounting brackets for tune-o-matics and end pieces for Gibsons. And a huge bag of potentiometers, all different sizes, shapes, the large ones, the small ones, 50s, 500s, 1Ms. They're all in there for doing your work, right? Also, I keep handy. I just finished this modification, took this out of that Fender. I keep these orange drops available. I'm about to take this one off this potentiometer and put it back in storage to use, a little 47. I use a different one to put on that Fender. What else? Gold parts I keep separate over here. And there's a gold tune-o-matic in case you come across one of those. What else? Gold tuning keys, obviously, the Gibson types along with the Fender golds. Let's see, more and more single gold keys, do the job for these guitars. And that's a gold Rickenbacker. Also, something really comes in handy if you don't have something to cut with, like scissors, something that will get down close to a part and clip it. Or these toenail clippers. Believe it or not, you actually get real close to a part and say clip a soldered wire free from a potentiometer real close. So those really come in handy for like $3 or $4. Good tool to have. Also, you need, of course, all types of sandpaper, all grits, all types to use on your parts to just basically work with those, as well as the wood on your guitars to help smooth those over once you've done some rough cuts, like expand the holes to accept a larger tuner post. Next, there are all kinds of three-ways. Here's the new style. right? It comes with a board, electronics board, instead of different eyelets, right? This is a three-way. Three-way parts and mounting parts and different caps for the three ways. Here's a new one. Here's a gold one, or actually here's two gold ones. A gold old style three-way, the old box type, and the traditional three-way for Gibsons. Is that large monster three-ways? That's going on that ES335 I've got. The 90-degree ones that were almost impossible to get, I made sure to get 3 or 4 of those. So from now on, I never had a problem getting those. These are 90-degree three-ways. That's for 3 weeks you couldn't get one. Or actually 3 months almost. The box style three-ways again. These are test caps or capacitors I've got, different ratings that when I'm in the mood I'll put them on and see what they sound like. Just for kicks and giggles. Especially on the ones I can modify real quick and easy. Some more caps. I always keep orange drops around, to do these modifications with. The old style three-way, made in Japan, oh boy. For the fenders, right, they won't fit my fender. Let's route out the interior. I think Radio Shack has the best wire available and gauge, as well as the plastic covering for it. So I buy the 3 spools there for like $28. These are all types of mounting brackets and mounting screws, wood screws for different guitars, as well as pup springs, so that you always lose a screw somewhere and you got to replace it somehow. Something else comes in real handy when you're doing modifications are alligator clips, just freestanding. You can actually put this on the leg of a capacitor and use it as a heat sinking source to keep the heat away from the capacitor itself. So you put this between the part you're soldering it to and the cap itself, and it keeps it from overheating that cap and melting it. More parts, more three-way parts, more gold parts. It takes a ton of parts to make these things. Old style connectors. This one still works but needs some work on it. What else? You'll also maybe need some converters down from your guitar plug down to an MP3 player. Depending on what type of modifications or what type of amps you've got, or different source you got. Always good to have 2 or 3 or 4 spare connectors for your cords if they get damaged and need replaced. Always have additional jacks for your guitars. 3 or 4 of those in there. Caps and covers for your pups on your fender. What else is in this thing? A set of zebras for Slash Guitar Appetite, and some hot fender pups, some singles in there, and let's see what else. Oh yeah, and a 12 and a 10 Gibson 57, 59 pups. Those are going in some guitars. So that just about does it. I hope that answers everybody's question from now on. If they get another letter, I'm just going to put this post to it, or post this video to those questions. What parts do you use? How much they cost? So I have no idea what the total cost of these things are. I've collected these over the years from other jobs, other sources, other uses. But if you can get those things, basically, that'll be enough to get you started to do these modifications I'm doing on these guitars from China. If you have any questions, give me a holler. Dave's in Texas. Bye.